doing today? So today we are going to do I'm going to do a presentation on essentially just a simple Sunday plant-based meal preparation that I do, and it's just for a couple days. So people can make, you can make food up to sometimes 3 or 4, even 5 days. Puts out the freezer. Um, and if you're an athlete, if you're a person, fit person, a person that trains daily, exercise daily, does things, moving your body, I would say needing more and more energy, need more and more energy. I'll just give you some tips and things that I basically like to incorporate in my meals pretty much every day. And that's pretty much it. So let's just get right into it. I'm showing you guys what ingredients I'm going to use today. I'm going to show you guys just how simplistic this is, how I actually get up and do this, how long it generally takes. It's not very long. And for the most part, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it. So let's just bring it on home. So right now, you're going to see basically my little setup right here. And this is my camera setup. Pretty simple. I'll show you guys the first ingredient. So what I'm making is going to be just a simple stir fry vegetables, and I'm going to basically make that with some noodles. And usually I like tomatoes in everything that I eat. So if I can find an excuse to make a dish that includes tomatoes inside of it, I will do that. Or I'll just add them in there anyway, just because I feel like it. So let's see. So get my grounding cord on my ankle. All right. So right off the back, let us show you the tools that you're going to need, which are not extravagant tools. Get you a pretty nice sharp blade knife and a cutting board. That's the first thing. Get you a bowl so that you can have your vegetables that you're going to chop up and put them in here. Now, I'm using today, this is Jovial, is the brand of the noodles that I'm going to be using, which is just made of organic brown rice, flour, and simple water. It's pretty great. This is a really great brand that I've come to actually enjoy. Also, Ancient Harvest, I think, is the brand that I was using prior, and that's a really good brand as well. And so let's also show you, I'll be using, this is basically plant-based. This is, the company is Abbott's. They make plant-based meat. So I used to, a long time ago, um, there was several that I used to try out, just to try them. And this one turned out to be the best one thus far. It's gluten-free. What else is there to benefit with this? It's pretty rich in protein, 14 grams. So if you're a protein person, that's trying to pack on and eat foods that are, I guess you can say, rich in protein or heavy in protein, this is pretty good for you. It does great in stir fries. It does great in like wraps or even grain bowls. I had it in a quinoa grain bowl. I'm sure it does great in salads. I don't really eat too many salads. I'm not really too much of a fan. But here are some facts about this. It has no soy, no gluten, no gums. You'll find some some noodles even have like xanthan gum and some things that hold it together, binders that they call them. No canola oils, no seed oils. I do believe no artificial flavors, and it also says no methyl cellulose. Now it's got some nutritional yeast. I think it's got turmeric, sage, celery, thyme, pea protein. So this is pretty much pea protein. This is some simple pea protein. I'll show you because this is going to be last on my list of what things to do. I have a sweet onion. I have a red onion. I have 3 tomatoes I'm going to be using. I have cauliflower. I'm going to use this. I have some parsley and I have some cilantro here. I have some green onions. These called scallion. And some carrots, which I do enjoy my carrots. I'm going to be sauteing these in a wok today, which is with the little round pot but I'll show you that too. And also a celery and then some kale. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna chop everything, put them inside of this bowl. I'm going to make the noodles because they actually don't take very long to make. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to chop all these first, deposit them to this bowl, and I'm going to take you on this side where you're gonna see the the pots that I'm going to use. Well, I'll just show you. So I have a simplistic. This is like a soup pot, huge soup pot, and I'm gonna put two at a time because it's a lot easier for me to do two at a time. So two at a time, where I'm deposit both of them, the boxes of noodles. I have a strainer here on the side, so I'm gonna strain the noodles out, and then I have my wok, which is where I'm gonna put the stir fry in. So you're gonna see it. Now, also what I use is I only use three types of oils. I realized that a long time ago I was naive to the fact that most oil that I was eating or cooking with was seed oil. It was canola oil. It was sunflower oil, safflower oil, and they really upset my stomach. But I realized that those things pretty much eat up the stomach lining in your gut. They eat up your gut lining, and they cause inflammation. So literally, they're inflammatory in that sense. So when you're eating foods that have this, go into the grocery store, you can buy a bag of chips. You'll look at Kettle Brand, especially. It's pretty common. Kettle Brand, which is a really common brand of potato chip. I used to. I'll give you a throwback story. Like 4 years ago, and I was living in a hostel actually out here in California. I just moved back here, and I didn't really have anything to eat. I couldn't really go prepare my food. I didn't have my own kitchen. I was living in like a shared space. And so I would actually go to Whole Foods and I'd buy these huge, like family size bags of like potato chips and like some salsa dip so I can get something I thought was pretty healthy, which is like tomatoes. So I'm eating salsa, but it was awful. So those chips that I was eating were pretty much cooked in sunflower oil. So pretty much I lost, I'll say 15 pounds. My current weight is about 186, 187 pounds. I fluctuate between that to about 190 pounds. So 190 to about 185 or in between that. I was literally like 174, 173. First of all, my mind was, I was cleansing at the time. And so I was already just attempting to get back to a good state of mind. But I wasn't eating the food that you can say could build me up. There was no way I can gain any nutrients from that. But what I'm saying is that you'll see it's very common. Most of the chip brands that you're going to see are cooked in sunflower and safflower oil. Those sort of things. So I'll show you a few things that I do actually eat on a daily basis. So uh, getting up, first thing I do is I usually have a bucket of grapes, but I just finished them this morning, so you're not going to see any grapes today. But grapes are my staple. I eat that, I would say, every day. I go to the grocery store. If not to get two, I'll go to get at least one bucket of grapes. I focus on red grapes because they're, to me, they're the healthiest, and they provide me with so much antioxidants, provide me with so much water because, again, H3O2 chains, you can get your water from fruit. And just to show y'all what I'm talking about, so let me show y'all there's a book that you guys can look at that makes a lot of sense. It's going to help you. So let's see, where's the book? I have it somewhere. Let's see. Okay, here it goes. Keep laying, plump. Keep laying. Here it is. Okay. So this book is called The Water Secret. It's called The Cellular Breakthrough to Look and Feel 10 Years Younger. This book's actually from 2010. And it basically just tells you about eating your water on the cover. The brilliance and simplicity of eating your water is life-changing. So in case you did not understand why, first of all, my company is called the Alkalign Lifestyle. That's because alkalinity is imperative in you to be able to see the world properly, regulate yourself, and be able to interpret what's going on around you. You should be alkaline, meaning you should be at the neutral perspective, but just over it, which is alkaline. 7.35, 7.55, that's called your pH, your potential hydrogen. And so most people are walking around dehydrated, which causes them stress. So because they're stressed out, because they're dehydrated, they don't know how to get the hydration inside their system. The main thing that you should do is not go pump gallons and gallons of water inside your system. Instead, find some water fruits, grapes, watermelon, mangoes. You can eat pineapple. Watermelon's probably the best. Coconuts is remarkable. So you'll see coconut water. You'll see watermelon water. Those sort of things. I still think grapes. Again, I read a book called The Grape Cure, which is an old school throwback book from this lady who killed herself of cancer just by eating grapes, which it has a 100% success rate. People just don't do it. They just don't do it because they are not able to sustain eating grapes for that long. But look, if it's gonna make me healthy and well, I don't care how long I have to do it. So those are just some things to share with y'all before we get started. Okay, so also I'll talk about oil. So I again, I only cook with 3 oils. One of them is which is extra virgin olive oil. You can Google the benefits. There's plenty of them. There's plenty of benefits in using olive oil. There's plenty of benefits in using also, I do believe I do, yep, I do have some. It is coconut oil, organic virgin coconut oil. I use coconut oil as well to cook, and I may use both of those today. So I'll keep that out with me. And then also I use avocado oil. Avocados are just really good for healthy fats. I have an avocado right here. So I usually eat one a day as well, and midday. Now I only eat one time, one meal a day, because what I do believe people do overeat. If you think about all you can eat, think about all you can eat is all you can drink, because all you can eat is basically saying that you're going to become drunk off of food. You can become drunk off of alcohol, drunk off of food that basically ferments inside your stomach, turns it into alcohol. It's the same thing. It's just the same concept. Okay, so you need to be careful to not eat where you can't move, to not eat where you feel like you won. That's not winning. That's actually losing in life. You need to be able to keep a constant stream and flow of energy to go through you and be able to focus on your ingestion mainly, not just your digestion. People are obsessed with digestion. I have to get these agents to help me digest my food, and I get it. But what I'm telling you is focus on your ingestion. Focus on what you're taking in and why you're taking it in. That's going to be more helpful to you than anything. Now, here's a simple look into my cabinet where I have a few things. I have beef propolis in here, which I use for myself. But this aids in digestion as well. Even wormwood, which they say is like a parasitic cleanse, but what it really does is just aids in your stomach bile, and also aids in relaxing your stomach. And also shilajit, it's just pure, so I keep it inside of a jar, and I can take some and I put that inside of a mixture, and I make my own tea. So these things are really good. And so what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna get started. I'm gonna show y'all. Oh well, here's also some bananas that I eat. In case you're having issues with stomach issues, you need to cleanse yourself. Bananas, and also seeds. These are organic pumpkin seeds. These are phenomenal. They just have pretty much a lot of mineral content inside of them. So, uh, if you haven't tried them, you can salt them yourself if you want. These are salted, but these are really great. Even cashews, I do have cashews. They're pretty much kind of empty, but cashews. I take these with me to the gym. So if I go for a session at the gym, I'll have a simple protein shake in the morning. This is my protein of choice, Garden of Life for organic protein. It's pretty great in terms of simple ingredients. It gives you a typical amino acid profile with the main amino acids that you're going to need. And also it just has really, really simple proteins, pea protein, sprouted rice, sprouted brown rice protein, buckwheat sprout, millet sprout, let's see, quinoa sprout, chia seed sprout. It's really healthy in that capacity. The ingredients are really, really good. So, okay. with that being said, now we're gonna get started. So let me just put everything on so that you guys can see. All right. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So mainly what I'm gonna do is I like to chop not too finely, not too finely, because I actually do enjoy cooking, undercooking my vegetables. I don't really care to overcook the vegetables. I like to undercook them. And if I undercook them, I feel like it retains a little bit more of the nutrient content for me. It tastes better also. And that's really the reason why. Now you can do whatever your preference is. And obviously cutting it really, really small, really, really fine, it's probably gonna help it cook faster if that's your goal. If time is your goal, okay, cut it smaller. If you want to bake, uh, maybe cutting it a little bit more fine would do you better. Okay, but I'm just gonna cut it just the way I usually do. So what I do is I used to eat, and this is back when I used to eat meat. I've been plant based now for about just over 9 years, and it's done me extremely well. Uh, my energy is extremely high. I work out typically 6 days a week. Some days are like my preparation days. They're my days of mental. I call it like a mental recalibration day. It's kind of like when I do my lesson plans. My mom is a teacher, so I got lesson plans from my mom. uh, and so it's kind of like me saying, I have to provide myself with the plans I'm going to do each and every week. You should also do the same thing. You should every week, every end of the week or beginning of the week. So if Saturday is the end or Sunday is the end, whatever's the end or your beginning, you want to program your entire week so that you can get the things accomplished, and you want to do it based on goals. You have an end goal. Do you know what your end goal is? If you know what your end goal is, you're going to program yourself to accomplish that goal by working backwards from the goal. I'll say this again. You have to work backwards from the goal. So you can't tell yourself, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, or I'm going to earn this much amount of money, or I'm going to uh, find love or something like that. And you don't work backwards from the goal. The goal literally is whom you're supposed to become. What I've learned is that you have to find things of equal value, people of equal value. You have to find rooms, environments of equal value, meaning whatever you value, the room that you're in, or the people that you're around, or the things that you're doing, the habits that you're displaying, they have to match up with that value. If they don't, you're just lying to yourself. And again, I teach a concept called the 7 mistaken goals that I developed because I understood that I was goal oriented, as I believe everyone is. People move towards goals. You don't live in the past, you live towards the goal. The problem with people is that they keep bringing their past into their present, which makes their present their past. That means that you're bringing your past as your goal. And so what people think is that they can just will themselves. And you can will yourself for a little bit, but if you don't have a system in place where you go to the gym and you train yourself with a specific regimen and you keep it for a certain amount of time, or you have a diet plan. It's not really a diet, it's actually just how you eat. And you actually start to understand that it's not you limiting yourself from anything. People just have this concept like they are victimized, like they're not being able to experience life if they don't go drink or they don't eat ice cream or something like that. And it's not true. That's inherently not true. You're actually enjoying life even more by being disciplined, by making choices, that can sustain a healthy lifestyle. So from what I've seen is the wealthier, the richer, the more money, the more success, perceived success on the outside that people have. Sometimes that is a detriment to their actual discipline and their actual lifestyle, their actual health. They now become like machines or robots. You can have burnout, and I've seen it. I've seen it. I've got to help people to deal with it, and I dealt with it myself first, and that's pretty much what happened to me. My partner 9 years ago was the one that told me, to try the plant-based lifestyle, and I'm still grateful, even though, we were married and divorced. I'm pretty sure it's mainly because of my detoxification, uh, which I'm not mad at all. You know, I'm actually really grateful for it because I'm grateful for the season that I got to experience with that. But I'm grateful because I got to learn that some things are just seasonal. Like, actually, not some things. I think everything is seasonal. The food that you eat, seasonal. Relationships that you have are seasonal. You may not have the same friends and relationship, or a relationship that you had prior in the season of growth that you have from a season of like rejuvenation. You just gotta look at it from that perspective. It's just a cycle, and it's okay. It's all right to have that cycle. So let me get the celery. All right. So, and this is really easy stuff. It doesn't take you 5 hours to get this done. I'm going to show you how much food you're actually going to make, and you're going to see it in the pots when it's done. It's like amazing just how much you're literally buying yourself a couple of days. And actually, when I'm doing this, I ask questions while I'm cooking to my subconscious mind, which actually, let me say this. People say conscious and subconscious. I believe it's more like super conscious. I don't think it's more like subconscious. I think it's super. I think it tells you what to do. It tells you what to say. And what is it? You can call it the universe. You can call it God. Everybody has a different name for it. The spirit, the oneness, the divine, whatever you want to call it. But it tells you what to do. And all you got to do is pick up the phone when it's calling you. You pick up the phone when it's calling you, and just answer the phone. Just do what it says. It's not that hard. Answer the phone, do what it says. And it may be the most uncomfortable thing for you to do because people don't like change. But I've learned the only constant in this universe is change. Change. Change is the only thing that you can count on in this universe. Change. So with that being said, maybe your diet is not conducive to what you need. Maybe your hydration, maybe your lifestyle, maybe your level of fitness. Maybe it's not conducive to what you're asking for. There's a lot of people who do the bare minimum, but they want extraordinary results. But you can't have extraordinary results without doing the ordinary extra. If you don't do the ordinary extra, nothing extra can come to you because you already can't do the ordinary the way it's supposed to be done at a higher, I'll say, at a higher output, at a higher purpose, at a higher level. You're not doing it. So I've just learned to show the universe that this is what I'm asking for. And so when I'm praying for certain things, you pray with your feeling. Your feeling is the secret. So think about this. If you studied Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about becoming supernatural. I've been meditating for about 7 years now under Dr. Joe, and it's been phenomenal for my health, for my awareness of myself, my metacognition, becoming familiar with myself and how I can change it. Whenever you start to become familiar with yourself, start to see how your patterns are affecting your lifestyle and everyone around you. I've created a larger energetic field. I've created a larger, I'll say, value, belief in myself. And regardless of whatever I've gotten in the past, and I've gotten some not always great energy coming from partners, coming from old friends, coming from family. I've received that. But I also just started to look at, well, what was I putting out? So I never really get angry or upset at these things anymore. It's kind of okay, that didn't work out the way I thought it was going to. Let's see if we can change it. Let's see if we can do something completely different. What do we need to change? How do I need to be in order to become what I'm asking for? In order to become, the person that gets to have the thing. That's really it. It's really when it comes down to. So, all right. We got the onions, the green onions, scallion. Okay. What I'm going to do here is these are going to be like the ingredients that are going to go first inside the pan. So I'm going to pour them inside the pan, and you guys, we're just going to keep on cutting and chopping. The onions, I don't like to overcook them. I like to undercook them as well as the tomatoes. So the last two ingredients that you're going to see me add into the stir fry are going to be these two, and then top it off with the actual herbs, the cilantro and the parsley. And so I'm just going to actually use a scissor and cut these into a different bowl. Actually, let me see. I'm going to keep using this one here. I got another bowl. And here we go, the cauliflowers, which is going to be next right now. It's this. Okay, so anyway, so back to, let's talk about the problems. I generally believe that people create their own problems. People generally create their own fears. They generally create their own misery. They just are unaware of it. And I think most people are banking on there's something outside that they're chasing, or, you have to find a soulmate. You have to find a soul this. It's like, I don't think there actually exists any of that. I don't think any of that really exists. I think it's just you meet things and people along the way that are there to help you to uplift your soul, and it's based on resonance. I think if you are in a place of growth, you find people who uplift your soul. And even if it doesn't seem right, even if it doesn't seem great and fantastic, you find people who uplift your soul. You find people who make you a better version of yourself. And it does not mean that they are hugging on you the entire time, or that they are, uh, obsessed with you in some wonderful way. They might put you through some really bad, awful things. And that's because the universe itself is using the people that are closest to you in order to assist it in helping you to become who you are supposed to become. And who you're supposed to become is who you choose to become. That's who you're supposed to become. Whoever you choose to become is who you're supposed to become. And most people become that. I don't think they have a problem with achieving their goal. I think they have a problem with setting goals. Most people have a problem setting goals. They don't feel worthy enough of a bigger life. They don't feel worthy enough of having wonderful things. They don't feel worthy enough of having wealth. They don't feel worthy enough of having success, of having someone whom they love. I don't think love is found in the times that everything is going great and the sun's out and it's wonderful weather, and uh, you know, money's flowing in and all this stuff. And I don't think that's when you find the people who really and truly love you. I think the people who really and truly love you are the ones that provide you with interventions, and they tell you, hey, you need to, you know, tighten up a little bit. You're too loose with life. You're not as intentional as you should be. They're the ones that come to you and tell you things like, hey, your diet is fucked up. You eat too much fast food. You're getting fat. Like, it's not healthy. Like, I think people need to stop taking things so personally. And if they did, they would understand that every opportunity that you have to serve somebody else is why you're here. And I think that is a wonderful thing. I look at it like the way pets and animals do. Pets and animals, I just actually 2 weeks ago, my dog, usually you see my dogs in my video sometimes. I have Onyx, the brindle pit bull, also had Jade. She 2 weeks ago actually succumbed to her, I think she had a bacterial infection or whatever she had. But I got to see the end result of that, 14 and a half years of her being here, which, yes, I would have acknowledged that I would prefer her to be here for 50 years. But I understand how the circle of life works. Now I do, because I got to see it. I cared more about the death of my um, the ex-partner's dog, than my ex-wife's dog. I cared more about her passing than I care about many people. And that's just because she was with me during my times of, when I was not great and I was not in a successful place, and I had no judgment coming from my dogs. Now I see why DMX was Dog Man X because he had such struggles in his life, and his dogs were always with him. You know, but again, I just think that seeing it from their eyes, Jade was her name, and she provided a lot of people with a lot of joy, and she always figured out how to serve others with joy. She didn't care about what anybody thought. So I just started to look at life in that capacity where I don't really care about what people think. I cried for like days. I was going to the gym the same day I went to the gym, and I never stopped going to work out. I just remember just going in there with my emotions, letting them, come out. Because I mean, you realize you can't match up with someone who is so pristine. That's why you're probably so sad. When you realize, oh my gosh, this dog met me at the door all the time, always had joy, always brought the best attitude, never brought any, anger. She had, I believe, an abscess or a growth, like a tumor, I'm sure, that was inside of her liver, because that's what they told us whenever we, she went under X-rays and things. And she was just so weak at the time. Evasive surgery probably, it would have killed her even faster, but she succumbed like an hour or two later. But I'm just glad that we at least got to, hang with her then, and she waited for us for a little while to be with her, you know. So that's my story about as far as love goes. Unconditional love is something different. It's whenever you have the right, you think you have the right to be angry. You don't express it. And if you think you have the right to be an asshole because somebody's an asshole to you, you don't express that. Make a different choice. And I think that's where people can learn from animals, especially dogs. So you have a dog, cherish the dog and do what the dog does to you for other people and the dog, not just other people, but for the dog too. Uh, so I've made their food every 2 weeks. Alex and Jade, I don't touch meat unless it's for my dogs. So that was pretty much it. I'm plant based until my dogs got to eat. As soon as my dogs got to eat, I got to go in and I got to take about 2-3 hours of touching some ground beef and some eggs. I don't eat any of that, but because I know, just how much they give to me, I could care less. So I think people just have to start to point the finger at themselves instead of saying everything is toxic. I don't really like those words. Toxic relationships, toxic workplace. I think it's just a difference of value. How about that? How about the difference of values? How about what the company that you work for that you call toxic has a different set of values than you have? And because of that, you think that they're awful when in fact they're not. They just do things a different way. They want to win first place. You want to participate. They want to go to the Olympics and get a gold medal. Again, you want to go to the Olympics. It's different. It's two different things. Wanting to go somewhere, wanting to win is completely different. Wanting to be the best version of yourself that you possibly can be is different than you just wanting to be there. It's different. So I think people can actually admit to that. They can look at themselves differently, and therefore they can change the outcome. If you don't look at yourself differently, if you don't look at yourself with a higher level of respect and admiration, first of all, you'll never change the outcome. You'll just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And so now let's talk about like food. I'll teach you guys the 7 mistaken goals, and essentially I'll talk to you about diet. So I have this written out. Let me actually see. Let me do this real quick. I'll start this process off in the pot. So I'll show you what this looks like right now. So here is all of this. It's gonna be stir fried up. So you'll see how it looks in the pan. This is how it looks in the pan. You're gonna have celery, you have cauliflower, green onions. I'm just gonna mix it up with the oil, and I'm gonna start the process off right now. So here we go. All right. Okay, this looks really good. This is good. This is good. Okay. So, and actually, I'll bring the camera over here so you guys can see this too. Let me rinse my hands real quick though. All right, so y'all are gonna see that just by you, and whenever you're making food for yourself, here's a tip. I want you to talk to the food. I want you to talk. You can do it internally. You don't have to say anything externally if you don't want to, but just make sure that you're speaking these words of kindness and these powerful things. Make sure that you're speaking these things in accordance to how you see the food. So now you're gonna see. So let me show y'all real quickly. This is what it looks like right here. So I just kind of mix it up with my hands. Okay. So all right. Well, let's keep going. So what I'm gonna do. All right, we're almost there. You're gonna now go to the finish up with the onions right there. So I'm gonna cut them, not put them in there yet though. I'm just gonna cut them. So let me cover this real quick. All right. And I'm also gonna start the water for the noodles. Now, here's a tip I'm gonna give y'all about water. So if y'all don't know, first of all, people dehydrate themselves really quickly, easily, simplistically, just by not paying any mind to it. There's a book, it's called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. Dr. Batman Galdi, he's I think it's like 1990, a production that he made, or he published this book. He's basically saying people substitute all these different things, thinking that because they're drinking soda, they're drinking tea, they're drinking coffee, they're drinking all these different things that they're still getting water inside their system. But that's not true. Water is water alone. So when you hydrate yourself with water, you're drinking water alone. Now, the difference in this case is obviously fruit, because that fruit is H3O2 chains, extra chain of hydrogen. It gets into your system. You also can use H2O2. H2O2, not just H2O. All right, so let me show you this right here. H2O2. I have a H2O2 right here, which is, this is food grade hydrogen peroxide, 35%. And this is an H2O2 chain. Now, here's the difference between this. Hydrogen peroxide, 35%. This came from the freezer. It doesn't freeze. So now you'll see that this is the difference. This is what they use now in terms of what's called oxygenation. You can oxygenize your body simply by taking a drop or two in a glass of water. Drop or two in a simple glass of water. It'll taste obviously like, like some, not soap, but it has an acquired chemical type of taste, but it still oxygenates your body. What you would do is you would take this, you would take it on an empty stomach. You wouldn't eat an hour or two prior and probably an hour or two afterwards. Just take it. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, if you need to feel like you need to oxygenate yourself, take this. And I take it with tea. Actually, I take it with my tea. It does work with my herbal tea. What you're going to see here, I'm going to show you guys this. This is my 5-gallon container of water. This is really good. And let me show you what the difference between this water. This water right here that I go get it from Bristol Farms. Usually on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, I go to fill up 2 jugs. I have 5 in total. And I have a dispenser here. You can get one off of Amazon. So basically make your 5-gallon jug, an actual dispenser. But this water right here, the difference is This alkaline water is that it is a negative ORP. What does that mean? It's a negative oxidation reduction potential, negative 219, I believe. If you've ever heard of a Kangen water machine, or these water machines that basically lower the antioxidizing effects, this is one of them. This is one of the pristine things that you can go do. But all you gotta do is you gotta get up and go do it yourself. You have to get up and go to serve yourself the water. The water is actually about $1.99 a gallon. So if you got a 5-gallon jug, $5. And so the difference is, you have reverse osmosis and things like that, which are for detoxifying. They're like cleansing agents. This one is mineralized. It's alkalized and mineralized. So not only is it a high pH, but it's also negative oxidizing with negative ORP. When you go to get alkalized water on the shelf, that water itself has been sitting there, first of all. So it's dead water. This water is actually dispensed right when you go do it. It's self-service. The difference between alkaline water that you go into the store to go get, it may say positive 9 or 8.8 or whatever it is, but that water does not have a negative ORP. The goal of the water is itself to stop you from oxidizing. What does that mean? Stop you from rusting from the inside out. It stops you from doing that. This water right here will help you to eliminate the waste products from your body. Help you to eliminate the waste products and cleanse what's called the lymphatic and the glymphatic system. It's called a simple history lesson or simple anatomy physiology lesson. We'll talk about the lymphatic system, the system that basically governs your cleanliness. It gets rid of all the pathogens, all the invasive species that cause you to get sick. And so you need to rehydrate yourself, because water is the one anomaly that people do not have an explanation for. And I believe that's because water, which is all around us at every moment in time, point in space, is the actual key. Every living being on this planet is filled with water of some kind. There's some kind of water inside of it, because water is actual life. And water can only be, you can only have an expression of life with a combination of water and the ether. Unfortunately, what's happening in science terms, even still to this day, people don't know what the ether is. People don't know what the field is. The quantum field, the biofield, the etheric field, whatever you want to call it. Ether used to be on the periodic table at one time, over a century ago. But now people act like talking about the field is some foreign subject. It's not. That's because in the case of the field is the mirror. The field is a mirror. Based on what you're putting out into the field is what you're going to get back in your life. So here is, this is the, I'm going to go right here with, I'll put 20, about 24. Let's see, I'm going to go with 16. Let's go 16. That seems pretty good. 4 liters. Let's go 4 liters. So we're going to go 4 liters of this negative ORP water. I drink it with everything. I don't substitute this for anything. I cook my food with this water. What I do not subscribe to is you having healthy water only for drinking and not for eating. It's the same concept. I don't understand how people would not do that or think about that. So I keep it the same. We'll do this again momentarily. All right. So right now we're going to carve up the onions. And when it starts boiling, I'm going to add these two here, and then we'll have these two. The pea protein will be completely last, and that's what we'll do last. So right now, I usually don't chop these up with my hand. I usually just take a scissor, because I just find it to be really simple for me. So I'll take this kale. These like the bottoms of the kale. I love my kale with my stems on it, but many stores or farm stands and things nowadays, they cut it off. I'm not sure if that's for aesthetics, but I want my stems. So I don't know. I mean, all right, but here we go. So let me cut this. I do it in circle fashion. It's really easy for me. So if you find that your hands are hurting, or you just don't have the strength in your hands to use a scissor like that, no problem. You can go towards the knife. The knife is fine. It doesn't hurt. Make sure you wash these scissors too before you try to cut all everything in. We throw them in the dishwasher just like anything else. Okay, so there goes the kale. Nope. All right. Okay. And when it gets to the hard stems, I might use the knife. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me chop these down now. 1, 2, 3, and last one. Okay. So again, there are 7 mistaken goals, and I'm going to read to you. I have specific chapters in my book that's coming out called Orgasmic Power. The philosophy called Orgasmic Power. I'll explain this in detail. Okay, so first of all, plump, keep laying. You're good. All right. Now, okay. Now, first off, when it comes to the concept that I call orgasmic power, what is that? Orgasmic power is a state of coherence. State of coherence that you basically have created between your fascia, your hormones, your breath, everything inside of your body is at homeostasis. And that is the state that you are in. It's like an infinite state of surrender. So you have the most power whenever you're the most relaxed. That's what I've learned over time. I've learned not to force anything because it's ridiculous to even do so, because there's a higher order governing everything that's occurring at this moment in time, point in space. We just don't see it. We're so oblivious to the things that are going on in real time that we think we're the ones that are doing everything all the time. We're affecting outcomes based upon what we're putting out, but how those things work is not always due to us. The how is not due to us. We're not that smart. Okay, the what is due to us, but the how, that's not it. So I'm going to show you all, and this is what I've been teaching as far as my philosophy goes, what the 7 mistaken goals do. And these goals are based upon your 7 chakras. It's a really, really simplistic way to think about this. And you know about chakras in terms of spirituality. They say root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus. Okay, it's the same concept, except for the simple fact we add in actual science. So we say root chakra, adrenal glands, or ovaries, testes for your sacral, or pancreas, liver, stomach, gut for your solar plexus, the heart and the lungs for your heart, for your throat chakra would be your thyroid, parathyroid, that sort of thing. Crown and third eye would be pineal and pituitary gland, endocrine system. You need to understand that those are actual glands, and chakras are wheels that go from the front and the back. And then you have your vagus nerve, you have your GI tract, the things in your center line of your body that are connecting the entire thing. So 12 cranial nerves, your CNS. You also have 12 cranial nerves inside your enteric nervous system, which is going to be your stomach and your gut. There's a connection. And you must understand that the connection, what people are missing is that they're not looking at their food. They're not looking at their food as a problem. Your food is a really big problem. Because if you don't get your food right, if you don't get your diet right, you're going to realize that your energy is going to suffer, and also your mood's going to suffer. Because I do believe, and research has proven, that your food has an effect on your mood. So let's talk about this. You don't actually just eat food, okay? It's not just food is it, and then, okay. No. You eat this, you poop, you pee. That's not the concept. There's more to it than that, okay? You don't just eat food. You actually become the energy of what you do consume. So if you're an alcoholic, I guarantee, first of all, you'll be an angry person. You'll be a very angry individual. And not only that, your liver will suffer. Not only that, your blood will be toxic because your liver's job is to cleanse your blood. You're going to have a shrunk energy field. Your brain's going to deteriorate very, very fast, very, very quickly. Okay. And you're going to become the energy of that toxic poison alcohol. So everybody who comes around you is going to be poisoned by you. That's what I'm telling you. This is how I'm telling you. Now, if you don't want to be accountable for it, don't. Keep on drinking and seeing how wonderful your life is going to be because of it. There's no joy in being fucked up. There's no joy in being incoherent. There's no joy in being unconscious. And people who are alcoholics, people who drink constantly, are walking around unconsciously. It's crazy. It's mind blowing. And don't think I drink before. I've had multiple issues with it. I'm not a complete alcoholic. I went to college just like everybody, or not like everybody, but like some people. And I got to go and drink. I've had sexual relations while I was drunk. Couldn't feel them. I've had, I've never played or done any performance or anything like that drunk. But I've gotten to have social interaction drunk. You don't remember anything. It's awful. So I'm really glad that I stopped doing it. 2005, I believe. That was when I first had moved to Phoenix, staying with obviously my ex-girlfriend now. I think she's married. She's a wonderful person too, to be able to take me in at that time too, because I was really going through it. But I do remember at this time I had been gifted a dog, and couldn't take care of the dog, was constantly always angry. I wasn't an alcoholic, so it wasn't that I was drinking every night. So not like that. But on occasion I would go out with friends and, I would have a drink, and I didn't even like it. It doesn't even taste good. But I was awful towards the dog. I was awful towards people. I was awful. And I do remember giving this dog away, particularly because I couldn't handle myself. So thankfully, I did rehome and find a home for this dog. She was a Shar-Pei at the time, or not at the time. She was a Shar-Pei. Really, really beautiful dog. I just wasn't a beautiful person at that time, and I had just bad habits. That was part of it. So I do remember sexual assault. I talk about this as well. On one occasion, I go out. I'm not even staying I don't even have my own place. I'm staying with a friend at this time. And just an older gentleman, co-worker. I remember going out, having some drinks. Like an idiot, I think no, not think, I drove myself back to his space somewhere in Glendale, Arizona. And I literally wound up getting, fondled, and I'm unconscious. Sort of. I'm not fully unconscious, but I'm kind of unconscious. But it was by him. You getting touched, you're getting violated, you feel like something's going on, but it's my fault. I put myself in that spot. I did that to myself. And it's all because I had this concept about food. I didn't understand what the fuck I was doing. I was eating processed fast food. I was doing all these different things that made no sense, and I couldn't handle myself really. And it was unfortunate, but I'm glad all the things that happened to me, because it shaped how I am right now today. And it also allowed me to have forgiveness for myself for things that I put myself through, but I was so naive and stupid. And it helped me to change my lifestyle to a way that's now got me in a powerful state. Okay, so food. What is food? Food is not just calories. It's not just protein. I'm just gonna let y'all know that. Protein plus signals equal your behavior. Proteins make up a person, a human being, understood based upon amino acids, structures, and DNA, and programming of a person's DNA, positive and negative. The DNA wraps around. It's based on perception. But we'll get into that in a different time. Right now, we're talking about food. Food is information from the field. Food is chemistry. Food is frequency. Food is instruction to your nervous system. That's what food really is. Okay? You just don't listen to the people who say that, because they're telling you go to In-N-Out Burger or go to Jack in the Box and all these garbage places, go to Starbucks and drink nothing but caffeine, which is basically the next new drug of choice, caffeine. So I'm just here to tell y'all what fruit really is and what it can do for you, how it can help you, how it can serve you if you allow it to serve you. Okay, so I made the concept of the 7 mistaken goals because I realized that everyone, not everyone, but the majority of people in this world, clinical psychologists, people who are psychiatrists, people who focus on the mind, helping people with their mental health. Most people don't understand teleology. They understand etiology, which is based upon past experience. Now, after reading Dr. Joe's books, studying under Dr. Joe for a while, he talks about how emotions are a record of the past. They get stored inside your body. So your body begins speaking to your brain because it's craving the chemicals, because emotions are actually chemical. Therefore, if emotions are chemical, understand this, if emotions are chemical, food is essentially chemical. People who are chefs are scientists. That's what chefs really are. Chefs undervalue themselves daily. Chefs should be one of the most important people in this entire world because chefs can heal you, chefs can kill you. Okay? So think about this in terms of emotion. Emotions are a record of the past. So if you're eating the same thing, you're thinking the same thing. It's really simple. If you're eating the same thing, if you're eating the same food, if you're eating the same style of food, if you're still doing the same thing, if you're still consuming, if you're still addicted to certain things, recreational drugs, things of that nature, you are the same person. You have no change. But I realized without changing my diet, when I changed my diet, and I was an athlete at this time, I just remembered I was striving to play in the NBA. And at this time, cutting onion got me crying a little bit. I usually keep a glass of water next to me so that you can have some hydration next to you, so it absorbs that chemical release from the onion, so it won't have you crying the entire time. But I just forgot to put one there. But during the time, I was so focused on being a professional athlete. I was playing in the ABA. I was working out to play in the G League. I had just moved to Fort Wayne because I was expecting to be signed by the Mad Ants Fort Wayne, which is the Indiana Pacers G League team, upcoming season. And I just couldn't handle staying there. I just didn't enjoy being in Fort Wayne. So no offense to Fort Wayne. No offense to you guys. I'm just not a Midwest person. I was born in the South. So after a little while, I just got cold. I had already lived in Superior, Wisconsin at the time, and it was cold up there. I just didn't want to be in -degree weather anymore. But also, eating was really rough because they didn't have healthy food like that. They just didn't serve it. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing. Okay, we got boiling water over here on this side. Let's check the time. The time is about 4:21 p.m. Perfect. So I'm going to deposit this in here. This is about 12 minutes. So about 4:30. I'll check it again at about 4:30. There we go. There's one box. All right. And I got a second box right here. Okay. 2 boxes. Can I get 3? I might be able to get 3. Let's see. I might be able to get all this. Yeah. But anyway, back to my story. So yeah, so me living in Fort Wayne was rough because man, they didn't have nothing to eat. They didn't have anything to eat. And so I was walking to the grocery store like every night. But what I'm gonna tell you is that whenever you have a problem with your diet, I need you to understand this scale, this 7 reasons. And I attribute 7 reasons to everything. 7 reasons why people are broke, 7 reasons why people are overweight, 7 reasons why people are sick, 7 reasons why people are have bad business, 7 reasons why you're getting divorced, that you have a separation in your relationship. There's always 7 reasons, and that's based upon 7 universal laws that govern your 7 chakras. You have 9 centers of energy because your root has 3. but you have 7 actual chakras. So at the root, at the base, which is your ankle, your knee, and the root, which you can call the adrenal. The adrenals are going to be these 2 caps on top of your kidneys. All right. This is what actually controls your immunity, your adrenals. This is what gets you out of fight or flight mode or into fight or flight mode. And this is what puts you in terms of the ANS, which is called the autonomic nervous system. It puts you into a state of survival mode, or it gets you out of it. Your goal is to get out of survival mode, not get into survival mode. Okay? So let's check on the visuals real quick. This looks really good. This looks really good. I'll show y'all what's going on over here. Okay. Let's see. So first off, yeah, this looks really good. Okay. I'm going to let these continue to cook though. So let me get this go some more time. You guys are going to see the end result real quickly. So let's let these go too. 4:33 is going to be the time. All right. So beginning at the root, what happens? At the root, the mistaken goal, they're always going to be the same. They're just in different contexts, in different categories. But right now, I'm talking about food. Your attention seeking at the root. That is a mistaken goal. Seeking attention, external attention. So what happens? What happens in terms of food is you say, I just need something quick so I can feel better. I need to get a snack. I need to get something in my system. But you're not even hungry. It's just because you can control this, that's what you do. So your emotion that you're expressing at this root is anxiety or restlessness. And your body, again, is affected at the adrenal system. What happens is you now have impulsive eating. This is because you are not grounded in yourself. Impulsive eating. So when people have impulsive eating, it's mainly because you don't have a plan, a structure. You forgot you're trying to lose weight. You forgot you're trying to gain muscle. You forgot you're trying to be fit. You forgot. It left your mind. And the impulse took over you. The impulse to do something took over you. So now you begin to grab snacks, eating out of boredom. You're just bored because you don't have any stimulus that you're putting into your body or your system. Go pick up a book, go read, go exercise, go take a walk. You're not thinking in terms of that way, in terms of that capacity. So let me open this real quick. There we go. Okay, so what's happening also is it's kind of like you're just taking random shots at things. You're just doing random things. And in terms of food, this is a problem. It's detrimental. So they are distortions whenever you eat foods. Distortions are processed snacks, like potato chips, like I used to eat when I was homeless, when I was walking it out, and I didn't know what was going on. I know now that I was feeling myself, and it was awful. When I was sleeping with my ex-wife, we were living out of our car for like a year's time, or 2 years' time actually, living out of our car. And we were only, we were generating a little bit of money at times. She was, she was chefing, she was doing she was doing her thing. She was taking care, she was holding it down. I was researching constantly. I was like, I have to build a philosophy. So I'm building websites. I'm learning how to do everything on the scenes to put things out. She's doing the work on herself to be able to become an entrepreneur, But the thing was, we were eating after midnight. We were eating like late night. We were doing all these different things that were detrimental to us because we were going against the circadian rhythm, eating out of alignment, eating fast. Well, I was eating fast food prior, like not, Popeye's chicken and stuff like that, but I was still eating like processed vegan food, which is trash. Still has seed oils and it still has bad things in it. And I was, and also constant sugar hits. Those are distortions. So you're grabbing these things as quick things for you to eat. Look at these protein bars or something that you can go get. Things that you think are good. Protein cookies. Whatever you may think, it's not always the best, y'all. I'm just giving you a heads up when it comes to that. So you need to make a shift in your head in terms of belief and begin to eat with intention. Here's how you eat with intention. Structured meals, which is first of all, you can pick a day and meal prep. If you go to my website, you can sign up for a free starter kit. You can just put your email in and you get sent a free starter kit. So it's a simple document that I created based on my orgasmic power philosophy. It has a 1 week training program and also a 1 week food preparation program. It gives you a shopping list for your food and some simple recipes that you can make from Monday to Sunday. Structured meals, 2 meal prep days a week, Sunday and Wednesday, which is ideally what I do right now, Sunday and Wednesday. You eat structured meals, you eat whole foods. If you go to a Whole Foods or you go to a Sprouts to go shop, you're going to look for the food. I don't know if these bananas have it, but they have a 9 in front of them. So if you look at the foods that you're purchasing, that you're buying, that you're eating, these don't have any stickers. I think I took them off. The food that you eat is going to have a 9 in front. So bananas code is 4011. An organic banana would have the code 94011. The 9 in front tells you it's organic. So you want to have whole foods, organic whole foods, especially your fruits. Okay, if you don't have, not always can you find like say organic grapes that are even really good. So if you get regular grapes, you can still clean them. You can use this fruit and vegetable wash. I get this from Sprouts. This is pretty simplistic. You can just pour it in there, spray it. It's just like some dish soap almost, and then you just put water in it, wash out your fruits, and then you can throw it out. You need mineral-rich grounding foods because what this does is you have stabilized energy. No more spikes, no more highs and lows. Don't get up and eat a donut when you can get up and eat a protein shake with some berries and some bananas and berries. Like here, like if you want to try this in the morning time. This is a 3-pound bag, $15. I got this from Sprouts. It has blackberries, blueberries, and red raspberries. You can get some strawberries too. You can get some mangoes too, frozen. You can get some bananas too, frozen. You can get anything frozen. Usually they'll freeze it when it's right. Put a protein shake with it. Combine it with protein shake. That's a perfect breakfast for you to energize yourself and get up in the morning and charge yourself up. Easy. You must stabilize your energy at the root because you can't be ungrounded walking through your kitchen. You're gonna end up overweight. You're gonna end up out of energy. You're gonna end up, breaking out your skin. You're gonna just end up in a bad way, in a bad mood because you're feeding yourself the wrong fuel. Second reason is at the sacral chakra, power struggle. This is what people start to say, don't tell me what to eat. Don't tell me what's healthy for me. Knowing whatever they're doing is not healthy for them, they still do it anyway. Okay? This emotion is it's just plain resistance. You have resistance to anything that's coming to you. That's your emotion. You're in defensive mode. Okay? Don't tell me what to do. Even though a person's trying to help you, you don't care about that because you are attempting to find power within yourself. What does this affect? Your reproduction. Women, your ovaries, men, your testes. There's a lot of prostate cancer going around right now. There's a lot of colon cancer going on too. Okay, cancers in every issue of digestion, small intestine, large intestine, these areas, and you're gonna see that you're using food like you're rebellion. You're already rebellious. That's why you're doing it in the first place. Because you know what works, but you don't know what works. That's why you're rejecting things that do work. So what are the distortions? Again, ignoring nutrition structure. There is an order for you to eat food. I don't know what dietitian tells you that there's not. There's some idiot people out there who claim to be certified who don't even look as fit as I do. And yes, I do believe that doctors, dietitians, nutritionists, they should be fit. If my doctor is fat, then they're sick. My nutritionist is fat, then they're sick. If my practitioner of health they don't look well, then they're not well. They can't help me to get well if they can't do it for themselves. They have no credibility. I don't care about your fucking degrees. They don't mean shit. I care about what you're putting out and what's coming back. And I'm looking right at you because that energy is coming to me. Think about that. So people would ignore structure. What's first? Your fruits are first. Your fruits are always first. Your fruits go first because your fruits set up your stomach and your system for digestion before anything comes in. When it comes in through your mouth, so make sure your oral health is clean, and you're cleaning your mouth out twice a day. You're also doing oral pulling and things of that nature to make sure your structure up here is clean. Okay, and then you eat your fruits first, because you know why? You should be hydrated first and foremost. And then fiber helps you to move the waste through your lymphatic system. Now, eating emotionally also causes these distortions, and also rejecting discipline and order and structure. I eat one main meal a day. I can have some small things here and there based upon my energy output, but I eat one main meal a day. So you have got to be disciplined when it comes to fueling yourself. You don't go in and drive your car for 5 miles and keep filling up the gas tank every single day. That makes no sense. There's no need for you to do that. You have to use the energy that you've been putting in, because you know what fat does? Fat holds toxins. Fat cells are literally just like warehouses for toxins. That's really it. So the shift is you have to get into a rhythm. You have to move into a rhythm purposely. And here's how you do it. You have consistent eating windows. I consume my food based upon circadian rhythm structure. So from about noon to, I would say, 7 p.m. is the main time. I extend it to 9 p.m. if I've been going, hard that day, doing a lot that day. But you mainly want to cut it off by 7 o'clock. You want to eat your food, because at that time of, I believe, 11 to 1, that's going to be the heart. 1 to 3 is the small intestine. And then after that, your you're going to have your kidneys. And so you need to look at it from TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. It's telling you what your windows are. Keep your windows in the afternoon to eat this food. Breakfast, eat breakfast if you want to. Just make sure it's a good breakfast. It's a hearty breakfast, but it's also, filled with energy. Filled with energy. Okay, so we got this going. I'm going to show y'all a little update. So here is, first off, the stir fry. Let's see what this looks like now. So now we're going to add in the onion, and then we're also going to add in the tomato. So here goes the onion. Here goes the onion first. And then, oh, I got a lot. I took off. Let me just do this real quick. All right. Okay. Lastly will be the tomatoes. I'll chop these up real quickly. Okay. And so, okay, we're going to go with tomatoes right now. Okay. But to finish off that concept of the sacral and getting back into a rhythm and a flow, I'm going to explain as to what happens with once you get back into that flow, eating consistently, eating on schedule, tracking your food with a food journal. What did you eat today? Do you know? You got to track yourself. Track what you've been putting into your system. Because then you can tell when you got overwhelmed, what did you have to eat or not eat? How was your hydration or lack thereof? You can realize that you're fueling yourself based upon your moods too. So as a result of this, your body begins to start cooperating more, just because you're grounded. You also tracking your progress. Like going to the gym without no structure is not a way to go work out. Okay, you won't begin to resist when you have something that you're supposed to be doing every single day in alignment, in order. You're organized. Your food needs to be organized. That's the main thing. Okay, so let's keep this going now. Oh, 4:37. Okay, so we're good. So right now, let's take off. We're going to have the second round of noodles right now. So let me put this in there first. So first off, let's see. We're going to do this first. Pour this one in. There we go. There's number one. All right. Okay. Got that. There goes the second one. That's 16. Perfect. Okay. All right. All right. So now we got the first set of noodles. They're incredibly hot, so I'm not going to do much with that right now, but you probably see the steam coming from it. Here's the first section. So we're going to keep this over here till we get the others. Let them cool down a little bit too. All right. But right now we're going to go towards number 3. Number 3, the third reason. We are going to now step into the higher center of energy, which is going to be the solar plexus. Now this is whenever you get mad and you start to say, you only live once. Make these stupid quotes and these stupid comments saying, I only live once. I have to enjoy this. I have to enjoy the muffin, or I have to enjoy the cookie, or I have to enjoy the drink. No, you don't. Okay? But you're mad. Here's where you have revenge, the third mistaken goal. This says I'll eat whatever I want. Whenever I want. This emotion is anger. And people say this term, self-sabotage. I don't believe it. I don't believe that term even fucking exists. What I do believe is that you have values that you're going towards. You have goals that you're going towards, you're moving towards. And based upon your body, which is your pancreas, which is your gut, your liver, your colon, this area here, solar plexus, you now are creating an insulin resistance, an insulin response. Because insulin is supposed to be released from your brain. People who are diabetic, my mom, for example, was type 2. And she ate too much meat. People don't want to hear this, but you know, all you carnivores out there devouring all this meat, you're going to end up type 1 or type 2. Regardless of what people are going to tell you, you're going to end up with low energy. And I don't want to look at these creators that do these things where they take the little cutting board when they have the meat and the steak and they're eating it with some butter and it's the most stupid shit I've ever seen. Like, it's the ridiculous I've ever seen. Maybe it's just for content creation purposes, but that's not how science works. Okay, it's called destructive eating, and you're just doing it just because you're mad. So now you're using food like it's like a weapon, and you're saying I'm hurt. Now you're using the food to hurt you even more. So it's overeating. People who go to a buffet that say all you can eat. All you can eat is just like saying all you can drink. I used to go to all you can eat. My father would take us on Sundays after church. We would go to all you can eat buffets. We would eat, and we would literally just eat ourselves away, and then it's like eating all your problems away, and then you just go to sleep the rest of the day. You don't have any energy. You can't move. And so I think it's just that is very detrimental to any family. Do not think that that is something that is healthy. You eat normally for 5 out of 6, 7 days. And then one day out the week, you decide to go stuff your face with everything that you eat, everything that you can eat. And then you say, I'm winning because I ate the whole buffet. That's not winning, man. That's where you have binging, and it's all you have these sugar highs. And you eat a whole cake or something, and then you have a crash. So you're basically like redlining, and you know you're redlining your engine, because your engine is the solar plexus. This is the engine that gets you to have fire, to move, to do things. If you just redline your engine just to feel power, it's bad. So what are the distortions at the solar plexus? You'll have sugar overloads. I just told y'all, you eat a whole cake, eating a whole dozen cookies. You'll have processed carbs. You won't have sweet potatoes. You won't have, healthy noodles. No, you ain't taking none of that. You know, you'll have garbage carbs. That's garbage. Those fake protein cookies and shit like that. That's trash. You'll start eating a bunch of breads. It's also trash. It's just garbage. It's gonna go into your stomach and expand. Why do you think they can't feed the ducks bread and shit like that? It's gonna expand, blow up in their stomach. You think that's a human being? Same thing. You know, so you have these late nights where you're going at 2 o'clock in the morning. I used to do this. I'm telling you. You know, my friend, she had, she would go serve all day, and she would be able to take home food from our catering events, and we would be eating food at 1 o'clock in the morning. You're supposed to be sleeping, not trying to digest your food at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. You won't get any sleep because your body's working overnight. It's supposed to be cleansing your energy. It's supposed to wait till the morning time or wait till the next day to eat. But if you're in survival mode, you're not thinking in that type of way. Okay, so that's why I'm here to help you all find some structure. So late night binge eating, that's not it. Don't sit there in front of the TV and have a bag of chips and the whole bag of chips is gone. If I do watch a show, I have a bucket, I have a bowl of grapes. I'll eat I'll eat a whole thing of grapes. I'll be cleansed out, but I'm not gonna go get some cookies I'm not doing that. And so what happens is you have to reclaim again perception based, belief based. You reclaim control over the intake, ingestion. You must control the ingestion. That's the hormonal imbalance of leptin and ghrelin. Leptin, think about leptin. The hormone that says, leave it alone, I'm full. Ghrelin says, give me some more, I'm hungry. Leptin and ghrelin, hunger, fullness cues. Okay? Those are your hunger and fullness cues. If you don't have those hormones balanced, you're not going to stop eating anyway. So, as a result of you reclaiming control over your ingestion, over your intake, you now have stability in your energy, in your mood, in your performance. You're not just going to all you can fucking eat buffet. Do not do that shit, man. Fuck, please. I'm just telling y'all. Don't frequent places like Golden Corral. No, I'm not a fan. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not here to put anybody's business down. That's their business. So there'll be people who are still gonna go anyway, regardless of what the fuck I say. I'm just telling y'all, as a person who's done that in the past, who's been to those places, breakfast places, and Shoney's, and all these places where you go eat pancakes unlimited and shit like that. It's not worth it. It's just not. Okay, it's just not worth it. Okay, but let me keep going. Here, one more. I'm almost gonna circle this a little bit. This looks really good. Okay. All right. Okay. Got this done. Let me see. Okay. All right. Next is the heart. The fourth reason. And the heart mistaken goal is displaying inadequacy. And I always refer to Brian Tracy, the business coach. He talks about learned helplessness. This is basically saying, I don't deserve to feel good. So you're basically going to take in food on purpose with intention to not feel good. To not feel good. What is the emotion that you're expressing right now? Low self-worth, low self-esteem. You don't have any value. You're looking at yourself where you're limited and you're small. And so now at your body, at your heart, your circulation, this is the system, circulatory system. So realize this, your heart's not a pump. Still to this day, people still have this misperception that your heart is a pump. Your heart is not a pump, it is a valve. It is a valve that is made for energy purposes. It is made to increase your energetic field. It is a valve. The lungs are the pump. How you breathe and take the air, the oxygen, that is it. That's what pushes the blood through those systems, those four valves, and it gets all the way throughout your entire body and feeds the body's 12 systems of your human body. But at this heart display of inadequacy, what happens to you is now you start to go and settle for bullshit. This is your dollar menu, people. This is your In-N-Out burger. This is your Jack in the Box. This is your fast food drive-through menu. Low quality trash options, low quality food choices for your kids because you're making it for yourself. People who feed their dogs hamburgers and french fries and shit. You don't fucking love yourself. Your dog shouldn't be eating no fucking McDonald's hamburger or french fry. It's not how it works. But it's because you don't really care what you're consuming. You don't really care for drinking a fucking alcohol. You don't really care about eating the cake. You don't care about the repercussions because you don't care about yourself enough. So here's the distortions in that sense. Low nutrient foods. I just talked about it. Garbage. McDonald's fucking french fries and hamburgers. Bullshit fast food. Yeah, you're going in to skip meals. This is another thing. If you work a 9 to 5 job and you take a lunch break and don't get any food for lunch, or you say, I gotta work through my lunch break. No, you fucking don't. Get up and stop for a half an hour and go sit your ass down with some quiet time. And what I used to do, which I still to this day do to this day, I pack my lunch. Pack my lunch. Go to Trader Joe's and get you one of these. Nice little lunch pail. Go and get you one of these. Just make sure that you can organize yourself. Do not prioritize your nourishment. That's another distortion. Not prioritizing your nourishment. So now you're just going the entire day. Sometimes I actually forget to eat food. Sometimes I actually just forget. I didn't put it in a planner. And you need to. You need to plan out your entire day. And sometimes I don't plan it out and I wind up forgetting. So plan your days, plan your nourishment. Because the shift is treating your body like it actually matters. That's the shift, because you see yourself differently with value. And what happens then as a result is your vitality increases with your self-respect for yourself. Don't demand someone respect you when you cannot even take 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I'm saying 20 minutes just so you can eat in peace without stuffing your face in a hurry and then are running to go get food and running to go. Just organize it. Do it yourself. Take time and eat in peace. Never sit at the table eating with people who are angry, with people who are deceiving, people who are talking bad about somebody else. Don't eat the food with people who are doing that. Don't do that. Eat in peace. In peace. Or play an audio book, or play some Silvesio sound frequencies, or some binaural beats at your headphones, or something like that. Or at your table. But just make sure that you do better for yourself. Fifth reason, your throat. Proving superiority. Here's the concept of food. You use food. You're saying my way is the best way. My way is the best way. Now, let me explain this in terms of science. Everybody has a different concept. Everyone has a different concept. But science will tell you what is the best order of food, the best diet for people to eat. They claim it's Mediterranean diet, but it's mostly a diet filled with plants, fruits, and vegetables. Why? It's because of something called angstroms. Angstroms are the measurement of wavelength. Why does it even matter? Because wavelength is what actually develops and makes up a person. You are a person that's compiled. You're a compilation of energy waves. That's what you are. And because you're a compilation of energy waves, you have to study energy based on wavelength. The food that has the fastest, the largest amount of waves is fruits, raw fruits. Water, there's some concept of water that they've studied. I believe I don't know if it's called Lourdes in France, but they studied the water that was from there. 14,000 angstroms of energy. The first category is actually fruits, which goes to about 8 to 10,000 angstroms of energy. Again, angstroms make up wavelengths. All right. They also are the measurement of your DNA. So, DNA is what makes up a person, a human being, along with your cells that make up a human being. So, what happens where you're eating food with the most energy? Vegetables are next, I believe, which was 6 to 8,000. Then you have, cooked vegetables. You have nuts and seeds. Obviously, they provide you with different minerals, different vitamins. What they said was alcohol, fried, processed foods, fast foods, they're pretty much at zero. If you're eating raw meat that just got killed, you'd probably be at 3,000 angstroms. But you're not going to eat raw meat that just got killed because you can't digest it. Because you know why? You aren't an actual carnivore. You just think like one. You think like one. But you're not one. And so here's where diet becomes your identity, because you have too much pride. Too much pride. Here's your thyroid, parathyroid. You rather argue what's the best thing than actually do the best thing. Actually do the best thing. So, we have a visitor. His name is Onyx. I don't know if you can see him. Onyx, what's up? You're on live, buddy. What time is it? 4:52 p.m. You got a couple more minutes. All right, I'm almost done. You go sit, and then we'll go play. It's not time for you yet. But you can clean up, though. Did I drop anything? Did I? Yeah. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. Go sit. Out. Go. Go sit. Love you. Go sit. Okay. So again, at the throat, proving superiority, saying my way is better. People will say carnivore is better. People will say vegan is better. People will say vegetarian is better. Listen, science tells you plant-based is the best thing. That's what science is. But I don't really give a fuck about science. I care about people's output, how people look, how people feel, what people are giving off in terms of energy. I care about that. Let that be the deciding factor. Okay? So we shouldn't have to be sit there arguing diets or overcomplicating nutrition. It's not that complicated. It's not. People want to talk more than execute. It's not that hard to figure this out. There's studies on, blue zones and things like that. And still to this day, people cannot explain why eating fruit has such a drastic effect on people's health in a great way. People tell diabetics not to eat fruit because of the sugar, but there's a difference in sugar. This isn't processed sugar. This isn't, fake made up sugar. It's just sugar that comes from nature, fruits. We didn't make it inside a fucking lab. It's good. So what you have in terms of distortions at the fifth level is you're hopping trends, Whole30 diet, again, vegan diet, because you're doing it for the animals or whatever you claim, carnivore diet, because again, the plant-based is taking too much energy or whatever. I don't know what the fuck they think, because that's to me is still dumb as fuck. Ketogenic diet, because if you get to ketosis inside your brain, all right, look, man, just give me some clean energy. Let me make sure I do what feels great. Tell me what the best thing is. Tell me what the best thing is. To this day, they'll still say plant-based is the best thing. More fiber. Okay, sure. Now, you must be a different person in order to do that. Person who loves nature, person who loves people, person who loves life. You can't just do it and you're angry. I'll tell you that now. Okay, but you have over-analysis at this level, where it's just all numbers. You're going to keep going to research after research and not base it upon how do you actually feel. That's where it becomes wrong. And it's a lack of consistency because of that. I based it upon how I feel. I turned 43 years old in 2 weeks from today. I've been plant-based for 9+ years, actually, because I started in April 2017. So 9 years. And I feel phenomenal. And prior to that, I felt awful. Prior to that, I can see how dehydrated I was, how toxic I was. Men, you can check it. Check your semen. If your semen's yellow or brown colored, or it's fragmented, you're acidic. I was acidic. Now I'm not. Now I'm completely, well, I'll say alkalized, but I'm healthy, and I feel so much better. I have so much energy. I have a pretty high VO2 max, so I can play all day. I can walk all day. I can go to the gym and train myself intensely, and I just feel great in my brain. So it makes a difference. I simplified everything for myself, and I said, this is the best diet for me to execute to be the best version of myself. I was 210 pounds. I look like a fucking running back, and I had all the muscle just amplified. I was always inflamed, but now I don't have any inflammation because there's nothing that I can create inflammation with. I have no mucus. Am I coughing and sneezing? It's just clear, and it feels phenomenal. So as a result of shifting my belief to research after research after research, I just began to see how I felt. And I picked the one. I picked the research that matched in alignment with my feeling. So now my results replaced everyone else's opinions. I didn't give a fuck about nobody else's opinion. I just care about how I felt. All right, so now, at the sixth reason, here's where you got the third eye. Now this can be pineal gland or pituitary gland. It's particular to some people and different cultures. They basically say it's one or the other. Okay, so what happens at this place? You're going through competition. So now you're comparing yourself to somebody else. You're saying they're ahead of me. Their body's better than me. Their brain's better than me. They're winning in life. I'm not winning in life. You're looking at it from that perspective. That is incorrect, because the emotion right now is envy and comparison. You're not seeing where you have health already. And so now in your body, it's your perception, it's your central nervous system, how you perceiving life, how you perceiving things around you. Your interoception, how you feel, and your metacognition, how you think about what you think about. Now you're comparing your bodies, your diets, and the results of those things. You're comparing. Well, this person does this, and this person's an athlete. He does that. He's an Olympian. He does this. It doesn't mean shit. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. You keep trying different things constantly, not staying long enough for something to see if it works or not. When I first started eating plant-based, I didn't we my wife and I didn't even know what the fuck we were doing. We were doing it. We were like, okay, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna figure out what we can eat. We were only eating a certain little block of food. Then we figure out we can go to expand and do more research and see what's available to us. The whole produce section is available to us. We were only eating this one little thing because this is all we knew. So what's the distortion? Again, inconsistency. Nature's consistent. Look outside the window, you'll see trees and all these things that you can see. They're all growing, grass is growing. It's consistent. Nature's consistent. Second thing is following trends. Diets are trendy. You will start following trends. Doesn't mean that they're right. It means that it's trendy. That's it. It doesn't mean anything else, but it's trendy. You start following those things, you start to create distortions inside your own body. It's you. Trust me. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Okay? So following those trends is going to cause you a disruption, because now you're beginning to lose your own rhythm. You create rhythm at the sacral. If you start to look outside yourself, again, in competition, seeing everybody else, what they're doing, what is everybody else doing? Start being that person. What's everybody else doing? Looking left and right of you instead of looking inside of you. You create more and more problems and distortions for yourself. Okay? Here's the plant-based pea protein you guys are going to see when putting out this. This is this Abbott's. It's actually really, really good. It does not take a lot. I'm prepping, so that's why I have 3 containers of this. Let's see how long. It's about 10 ounces a box. So if you consider it pricey, it's about $8 a box. But let me tell you, it's worth it. You don't need a lot. I have a lot of food. That's why I'm adding in 3 separate boxes. And I'm going to actually chop these into smaller pieces right now too. So that's why you see me putting it in this pile right here. Okay, but back to third eye. So what's happening now is, because you lost your own rhythm, you lost your own self, you stopped following what's called interoception. Interoception is based upon how you feel. You can feel how you feel. You actually can feel your heart rate going up when you eat this. You actually can feel, your jaws clenching or your stomach turning whenever you eat this or drink this. That's interoception. Can you feel how you feel? It's different. I used to have this joke with my wife. Because I remember I had went to the Instacart and I ordered some vegan gummy bears from the Sprout store. This is back when I didn't really know much about it. I was just like, I want something, so I ordered some, and they brought me a regular bag, which is like, they use animal, most gummies, actually, I do believe they use animal base to make them, and the vegan ones don't. They use like carnauba wax and some other things like that. Okay, but gelatin is what it's called. They use gelatin from animal bones or whatever to help, with the effect, the gummy effect. And I always remember I ate them and I'm like, I thought I was gonna die. Like my heart rate starts going up, my stomach's turning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. So I remember I ate like I think I ate like a handful, like a couple of them. And I was just so afraid. I was living in a hotel in Beverly Hills off of Crescent Drive. And I remember going outside and I just left the pack on top of a trash can. I'm like, I don't know who, it's brand new. If somebody wants to eat this, they're welcome to it, but I'm not eating it. So I just remember interoception. That's probably one of the first times I could feel how I felt. And I made it a pack never again, which I have not had any Sprout vegan gummy bears since that time, 2022. So it's been 4 years. So take my interoception. But now again, what happens again? You start to shift your perspective, and here's where you follow your body's signals. You have to know what they are, though. You must know what they are. Interoception and metacognition. Meditate. See how you feel. Take some time and see how you feel. Close your eyes and take some time and see how you feel. Okay? That's the shift in your mind. And what happens as a result? As a result, what happens is your diet now again becomes sustainable. Diet's not a bad word. I don't know, people act like it's like some evil thing. It's not evil. Just pick it based upon your goals. If you have a goal of being healthy, don't fucking eat fast food every day. Just pick it based upon your goals. If you want to be free flowing and spontaneous and be an idiot and you don't really care about yourself like that, then do that. But if you do, you want to care about yourself differently, then show up differently, man. It's not that fucking hard. People just cry about everything. Don't cry about it. Just do what you're supposed to do to get the life that you're asking for. Okay. Anyway, so this is the last thing. So I'm not gonna leave this knife anymore. This is done. All right, so let me show you guys. I think the noodles are about done. Here we go. All right. Here's the last noodle right here. I'm gonna show you guys this. We're about done. So we're gonna show you the end results. Both of these. There we go. All right. Okay. So the last reason, which is no courage to be disliked at your crown chakra. This can be the pineal. Brown skinned people, melatonin and serotonin combined create melanin. So melaninated people, brown skinned people who can absorb the sunlight and need more sunlight. You got to go outside, first of all. Go outside and get some vitamin D. But what happens is you don't want to stand out. This is the issue at the crown. No courage to be disliked. You don't want to stand out. So what's that mean? You have fear of judgment. That's your emotion, fear of judgment. So now at the body, that is the CNS again, central nervous system. Now you eat based on social pressure instead of eating based upon what you need to eat for yourself to be your best self. Eating what others eat is not always the best thing unless they're in alignment with you and your higher self. If you go into a get together, go into a birthday party, go into a celebration and people are eating something, but it's not conducive to your actual goals, don't eat it. You don't have to do it. Okay? It doesn't matter if you go around your family and they serve you this. I don't do that. I don't give a fuck if it's grandma house, auntie house. I don't care. I don't eat that shit. So thank you for the gift, but no thank you. I got my own and I'm good. Drinking when you don't want to drink. Okay? Eating when you don't want to eat. Eating what you don't want to eat. Drinking what you don't want to drink. Breaking discipline because you want to fit in. This is one of the issues because you're going in an environment that's keeping you basically unhealthy and sick. So here's distortions at this level of the crown. Alcohol, that's the main thing. When you're consuming, say like barbecue, burn up foods and shit. Social eating habits, which is just you eating late night. You know what I'm saying? You eating dessert first. It's peer influence choices. Your peers around you are influencing your food choices, what you're eating. The shift right here is you have got to have the courage to say, fuck what people think about my diet and what I'm eating and these plants or my kale or my banana or my apple or whatever else I'm walking around with. Fuck them, choosing alignment with myself over the approval of other people. And now I become disciplined regardless of the environment that I am in. That is it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I need you to understand just how important and imperative it is for you to become your best friend in this case. Okay? So let us show you what's going on over here, because we're about done over here. Okay, I'm gonna put this out right here. So I know I got some things on this side, but let me do this. Okay, and I got my man Onyx, he needs to eat. All right, Onyx, we're gonna eat shortly, but right now you're gonna do this. You are going to have some of this right here. Now watch this, you guys. We're gonna do this here. I'm gonna put this all in here. Ooh, this is hot. Okay, I know it's gonna be that hot. Okay, hold on. All right, let's do it. You move over here. You go to this side. You go to this side. You go to this side. Let's see. There we go. Ooh, that look good. Okay. All right. Here's the strainer. Got all of that in here. Okay. Now, this is done right there. Now we're going to circle this around. Just, whew. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Okay. All right. Y'all gonna start to see it turning up. I'm gonna basically mix this up together. Now, this is only olive oil, 4 boxes of noodles. I actually have some, let's see, not cucumber, zucchini squashes that I'm going to bake, and I'm going to add to this later on. Right now, I just want to get the gist of it. And here is what I got, my carrots and everything else. And this is the really cool thing. So if you guys like the shape of your noodles, you probably don't want to do it this way just because you want to keep the shape of your noodles. I don't really have too much of a preference when it comes to that. I'm more so for the food. If I'm preparing like a nice meal, for someone, myself, then I'll be a little bit more mindful of that, of the look. Right now, it's not about that. It's mostly just about what I'm eating, mainly the brown rice noodles, because I want more carb for this week so I can have more energy production. So here we go. Here's how this one's going to work. Okay, that looks really good. I got you, Onyx. Don't worry. I got you. All right. So we're going to continue. So those are the 7 reasons, the 7 mistaken goals, and how they attribute to your diet and your food. Okay. Now we're going to actually get into something different, where we're going to keep this going. We're going to talk about the loops and how these patterns of behavior even start and why they continue and things like that. Let me show you how this is starting to come out and look. I'm going to season this with some just simple salt, Celtic salt, and black pepper. So this is carrots. It's got vegetables in it, which you're going to see. I'm going to add this kale and these cilantro and parsley in it, and I'm also going to put it back on the stove just so you can just heat up with this. So this is going to be how I finish it off, because I really enjoy these things all together. So now you're going to see it's all going to be in the same thing at the same time. So it's going to be this really green meal. Very, very green. Very, very filling. Very, very healthy. Very, very good. Chlorophyll is probably the best medicine that most people don't take in. Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is what keeps you smelling good. It's what keeps you not smelling bad at all, actually, is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is what's kind of cleaning you up, helping you clean out yourself. So again, Google the wonderful effects of chlorophyll, and you'll see why it's really good for you to eat dark leafy greens, what they provide for you. People don't usually believe it, so I encourage people to just look it up yourself. You don't believe it, look it up yourself. See it for yourself. some things you can't hide from. So let's see. So let me show you all of this food in this huge wok. This is all this food that we just got in to create. This is it. This is what we just created. All right. I'm going to now put it back onto the stove, and I'm going to add in the rest of these greens, and I'm going to put the pea protein chicken. What I'm going to do with that, it's even cooler. I'm going to put it in the oven with some oil at 400 degrees. So you're going to see the difference in that too. So let me put the oven on right now, 400 degrees. All right. Hold on, Onyx. It's coming, buddy. It's coming. Let me wipe this up a little bit. So let me clean up just a little bit, and then we'll continue going down the pathway what we were speaking on. I know you want to clean. Here, let me wipe it up. I don't want you to get no bad remnants on. I know you don't care. Here's a pea protein. Here, eat that. There you go. You want a kale? Okay. Onyx is a pit bull. He does eat vegetables in his food. So I do make his food every 4 weeks. And it consists of a lot of red meat, beef, some pork. We typically, for a few months, Jade and him were eating chicken and turkey and all high quality meat. We source it from Wild Fork Foods, which is really, really good in terms of just the quality of the meat that they have. So it was pretty good in terms of the source. So we just kept giving it to him, and then now we took off some of the extra meats and just kept the really good ones. We give him certain organs now. But Jade, she got to eat really, really good meat too. She didn't start off eating great meat. She was eating kibble for her first couple of years, but later on we decided to give him the best of the best too. Okay, so let's finish up, and we're going to talk about the food and mind behavior loop. So finally, okay, here's where our philosophy at the Alkalign Lifestyle Institute, Orgasmic Power Philosophy, here's what separates us from everything else. The food does not just affect your body. It directly affects your thoughts, your emotions, and your decisions. Your choices that you make, the patterns that you build, the habits that you express, directly affected by your food. Like here, I'll give you an example. So I have an example that I set out. High sugar, that's an insulin spike. Then you have a crash, then you have irritability. So now the irritability is going to cause you to be more reactive, less patient, more likely to fall into one of those 7 mistaken goals, because the energy is going to be distorted based upon your perceptions and your subjective biases and how you've been moving through the world. So now here's the opposite. The opposite is when you eat whole nutrient dense foods, you have stable blood chemistry. Now you're calm. Now you're focused. Now you're disciplined. It's because of what you're putting in. You're just putting in better fuel. Okay, so when you're out of alignment, what's happening? When you're out of alignment, when you don't have coherence, your cravings control you. Your cravings keep you up at night. Your cravings keep you picking bad things off the shelf. Your cravings keep you walking away from produce and away from the good foods that you can go get, the fruits and vegetables, and it keeps you going towards the fast food. It keeps your energy fluctuating. You can't have consistent energy when you're not doing things in a consistent manner. And also your emotions are starting to have these huge swings. And then that is making your discipline feel like it's impossible. It's not impossible to be disciplined, y'all. It's not. It's actually really easy. It just means that you have to track your progress and think about why you're not executing how you're supposed to execute. Okay? So now when you're in alignment, here's what happens. This is the opposite. When you're in alignment, you choose your intake, you choose your ingestion, you choose the foods that are going into your body. You choose what you're drinking. You choose how much water you're having. You're choosing to have a whole 64 ounces a day. You're choosing to go to exercise too. You're choosing to keep consistent energy throughout the entire day. You're choosing to eat one main meal earlier in the afternoon, not eat late at night. You're choosing to not stuff your face. You're choosing to eat for energy and eat for efficiency. You're choosing to keep your mind clear. Whenever you eat food, 400 times the melatonin release comes from your gut. Your gut releases 400 times the melatonin that your brain does. So when you eat food, you automatically get tired. You're getting tired because you should, because you need to go into relax mode so that you can digest your food. So the discipline begins to feel natural whenever you're in alignment, though. It's harder whenever you're not when you're not coherent. Everything's hard. It's just hard when you're not coherent. Okay, so I want you to just understand that you don't think your way into alignment. You don't think your way into alignment. Okay, you have to actually, figure out the chemistry behind it. So if your biology is working with you, it's working against you. So you have to fuel your orgasmic power. This is you're feeling your state of coherence and your state of just neutrality. You're feeling that. You're not feeling your acidity. That's not it. Because you can be doing one side or you can be feeding the patterns that block it. And it's just based upon how you look at it. You're either feeling it or you're feeding patterns that are keeping you from it. Okay, so people are trying to just do one thing at a time. Like, oh, I gotta fix my mindset. I gotta read more self-help books. I gotta meditate more. That's great to do that. But it's not just fixing your mindset or fixing your behavior or fixing your disciplines or fixing your habits. It's not just fixing one at a time. You have to fix the chemistry that's behind it. Because the chemistry is your emotions that are behind what you're doing in the first place. So once your diet is aligned, everything else just seems to be a lot easier. I've just learned. I became a brand new person. So I'm like 9 years old. I'm just about to turn 43. But I feel like I'm, a child, a healthy child with just a nice little wisdom factor of experience in life. So your self-care is going to start to stick. Emotions begin to stabilize, which is great because then you have relationships around you stabilize too because of that. And then your focus sharpens, your energy rises. Here's where you got to learn how to go through the cycle transformation. The first start is always detoxification. Please understand this. Detoxifying yourself is going to cause a break in the habits that you're expressing. What you need to do, break the habits by detoxifying yourself. But then you have to start to look at yourself, metacognition, go through the process of meditation, go through the process of interoception, learning about yourself, thinking about what you've been thinking about if you're pessimistic or negative all the time, or you're always going to, hustle culture. Who are you? Set your values. Do a value assessment. Look up Dr. John DeMartini. He has a value assessment. You can look it up online. Actually, I think I have it on my starter kit too. If you guys go in, um, do your value assessment. So first, number one is always going to be you'll have your detoxification. That's first. That's paramount. Detoxification is always first. And then you're going to reset yourself. Again, metacognition, think about what you're thinking about. Third is going to be reprogramming. I suggest that you write down some things that you want from God or the universe. I suggest that you create a vision board so that you know where you're going. You know what you want in life. And you do it based upon your values. So do your value assessment first, and you'll realize what you want based upon your values. It's easy if you do it that way. It's harder if you do it the opposite way. Values first. What are you valuing? I just did a video. I'll put it out. I'll publish it tonight, where you'll see based on finances. I'll talk about money, how you can avoid being a broke entrepreneur, and I give you the value assessment in that video. So if you are, if you got some time or want to make some time, check it out. And I'll put it up about 8 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're not available today, it'll be up tomorrow morning. After that, you're going to execute. You're going to affirm the new you and take action on the affirmations that you're affirming. Don't just affirm and then don't do shit. You affirm the things that you are doing. You affirm the habits that you need to do to become who you need to become. Affirm the habits. That's the trick. Affirm the habits. And then as a result, you have a new identity. That's how it works. So all the signals are going to be restored. And then once that happens, you just become a brand new person. So if you guys are interested in the VIP coaching program that I have, this is for high performance, for people who are on the verge of, where you're on the verge of divorce, or when you're on the verge of separation, or whether you're on the verge of, suicidal thoughts, whatever it is. I've dealt with all of them in my lifetime, which is crazy I can say that now, but I've dealt with all of them, and I've gotten the people to come out on the opposite side. I've helped them transform their lives and their livelihood and their mind, and I can do the same thing for you, but it takes a commitment. So I don't give just anybody. If you're ready to commit, if you're really willing to put in the work behind it, because you love yourself enough, then put the link in my description below. You'll see all of my offers. I have what's called Elite Immersion program. It's a 12-month program. You're trying to reprogram your entire generation structure. That's literally what's going to happen. You also have a 90-day Accelerator program where you're just going to raise your orgasmic power, get out of survival mode, get yourself back into the level of coherence. I also have a pre-starter kit. It's a 1-week diet program for plant-based, alkalign diet. Also, it's a 1-week workout program because training and fitness is imperative for you to be able to become a new person. And it explains the universal laws and how you can follow along. And also, lastly, I do have a blog that you guys can check out too, where it displays each 7 mistaken goals in real modern situations. I basically took all of my videos and I repurposed them and basically wrote a blog out where now I can communicate, whether it's water, dehydration, or EMFs, or social structure, or sexual energy, or people who have sexless relationships where you're not having sex with your partner, no intimacy. I've dealt with so much over the course of my lifetime that now I have seen how to answer the things in a positive way. So check them out. Check out my offers. And if you like this live stream, obviously, share it with somebody else. Subscribe to my channel. And this week I got some new things coming up. Probably gonna have a training video on Wednesday or Tuesday come out, so you guys can also continue to train yourself and just help you guys get to be the best version of yourself you possibly can be. So I'm glad you guys are here rocking with me. Thanks for tapping in. I'll check you guys out later. All right. Peace.